We'll have an opening statement from Coach Lansing, and then we'll have some questions.
First, I just commend Ball State and Coach Whitford and his staff. Really like him as a guy. Obviously, he's a good coach, accomplished a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun competing against those guys. They're going to get players. They have players. Those kids played hard, and some freshmen playing productive minutes. We've always liked Jesse Berry, really good player. Just a good team, and I wish them nothing but the best other than when we have to play them. We did some good things. We started with a lot of energy. I just thought we got deflated pretty quick. Our bench has got to come in and give us energy, and especially in that first rotation. Second half we played a little smaller and did some things, but we had a lot of defensive breakdowns, and that's disappointing. But it's a really good team win over a good in-state opponent on a big week where the guys could have had some excuses with all the other stuff we had going on, and I was a little on the edge a little bit just because of dealing with that all week, and I probably had them on edge a little bit. But we'll keep working on it. Looking forward to a couple days of practice before we get on the road.
Greg, there were some great individual moments in this game for your team, and that speaks to the skill that you have. You know, talk about that first, and Dewan in particular, whose early shooting, really that Ball State they tried to overcome it, never could, but, you know, talk about that aspect of the game.
I think we have good offensive players. We're not always going to shoot, Dewan's not always going to shoot that well and make that many threes. We're going to be able to score, I think. You know, I think we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. We're versatile. But there's going to be nights we're not making shots, you know, and you have to buckle down a lot more than we did on that defensive end. And I thought Dewan and Jake were the worst two defensive players on the floor tonight, and they're better than that, and they know it. We can't have an offensive mentality. We just have to be unselfish on the offensive end. We have to get us a lot more intense defensive tenacity and more of a defensive mentality. And that's all.
Yeah, I mean, does that go to, it seemed like some of the things that maybe weren't up to par were kind of team things like team defense, communication on the offensive end.
And that's been an Achilles heel for us at different times when we've given up things. We make mistakes on the defensive end by not communicating. Manny is a tremendous defensive player and works his tail off, but he has to talk, and especially when we do switching. They're versatile. They're doing handoffs. They're doing ball screens, so you can do a lot of different things against them. And it's not enough just to do it 3 out of 4 times. You have to do it every time, otherwise you might give them a 3. So we have a lot to work on, but we can be a good defensive team, and we'll continue to improve on it.
Justin Gant didn't look like his ankle was bugging him. He was one of those guys who had some of those moments where, you know, maybe he's the difference between Ball State getting into the game and a 10-point gap. You know, just talk about him.
He's a good player, you know, and his conditioning's struggling a little bit just because of you know, missing practices. But to his credit, he tried to practice with a severely sprained ankle, and then it swelled back up, so it got swollen back up. So we had an MRI done, took a look at it, gave him a little rest, but he practiced the last 2 days. So Justin's a good player. There's no doubt he's going to be able to score for us and rebound for us. Again, and he's a smart defensive player. He allows us to be able to switch from a big to a guard because he does a pretty good job with it.
Coach, do you think the atmosphere today helped you guys win?
I love our fans. We got great fans. I love them. Having the legend in here, what a great week and a great night last night, and just a special day for all of us because I didn't go to school here, but I've been here twice, and it's a special community with a lot of great people, and we all take tremendous pride on our teams. And to have Larry come back was just great, and I thank a lot of people for that. We had a ton of people do a lot of hard work, and we had a tremendous event last night. And I hope it's like this all the time. You know, these guys are a hard-working group and a good group of guys. Their effort warrants a good crowd every night, and when we go on the road, that's what we play against. So I hope everybody that came tonight liked what they saw, know we have a potential to be pretty good, and they come back and bring a couple friends.
Did you catch yourself at all with Larry sitting there front row, that's the first time I've seen him sitting out there? Did you ever? I know you're focused on the game, but did you ever catch yourself or any of the players kind of, you know, looking out the side of their,
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you on that. When I walked out to the floor, I wasn't thinking about it at all. Obviously, I'm pretty focused and pretty anal about my job. But I walked in there and I sat down on the bench. I just happened to look up and look over there, and he kind of just gave me a little nod on that. And I got nervous. I really did. I mean, he's been tremendous to me. Larry, he doesn't have to do what he does for us, and he's been very welcoming to our staff and supportive. He follows us. I know he follows us, but he's awfully busy in the job he's done, and he's done as good a job as any general manager and president has ever done in the NBA. That's on top of his unbelievable career. So I was a little bit, and I was hoping that our first possession we'd execute what we drew up. So he would appreciate that, but just really appreciate him coming and all his fans and the 79 team. Those guys, a very special unit, and for them to do what they did at Indiana State, it'll never be done again. I wish it would, but it'll probably never be done again.
Talk about the defense on the show today. What was your guys' game plan coming in? It seemed you were doubling on him pretty much every time.
We did. You know, we were coming from different guys, and when you come from a Bond, he's liable to kill you on the offensive glass too and do some things. He's a smart player. Majuk, I think he was 4 for 12 against us last year, but he did score. We wanted to, if he was going to get 17, we wanted to make him have to do that on 16 or 17 shots. He's a good player. Like him a lot, and played unselfish. We came and got him. He gave that ball up. I don't think he forced anything, and when he had an advantage, he took it and got buckets. So that's a good player. He's tough to defend, and when they have Barry and Xavier shooting the ball like that, you know, it's you got to pick your poison.
What's your assessment of Xavier?
Really good. We've always liked him. He's super quick. I think he got a layup after we scored that last bucket. Dewan said he didn't want to foul. I think he was shooting a layup in 2 seconds, but having to guard him for the next 3 years is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. House, we've always loved him. These are good guys, and I've said it before. You know, with the previous staff there who did a good job, we never really bumped into them in recruiting. And Jim and his staff with Billy on there, those guys are good guys that work hard. Really look forward to an intense rivalry with them.
Greg, as you ramp up for Belmont later this week, what's kind of the practice focus that comes out of this game? What do you move forward from
Well,
this one?
I can guarantee it'll be a highly, the practices will be highly focused on defense and communication and doing different things in rotation. And we do it every day. You've been around it. We go for an hour to start on defense every day, and it just wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. We weren't locked in at that end. You know, you can't let negative stuff or missing a shot on the offensive end affect you, or you can't make a great play on offense and go back and be celebrating it and let them get something at the other end. So we're going to focus on that because the team we go against at Belmont, just unbelievably well coached. They're in the tournament about every year. I think they won last night, or they play. I can't remember. I saw a score, but a good team, and it's going to be nice. We got to get locked in, and this is a good way to do it to go on the road.
For all the emphasis on hand checking and contact, did you see much of a difference today?
No, I thought they did great. I thought Ball State did as good a job as we did too. I thought our guys kept the hands off for the most part, but Ball State, they had their hands back. They can still ride you. You can still play a good hold defensive position. As long as you don't put your hand and forearm on them, they've obviously worked on it a ton, as have we. So it's a well-coached team there, and we tried to do it. I think we did a little bit too much reach and fouling the shooter, and Jake fouling a three-point shooter at the end of the game. He's much smarter than that. You just can't make mistakes like that.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.